Hey, welcome back to Golf WRX's Winning What's in the Bag, where this week we're taking a look at Brian Campbell's winning bag from the 2025 John Deere Classic. Congratulations to Brian, his second win of the year. He won just a little while ago down in Mexico. Got a second career win here at the John Deere in a playoff with Emilio Grillo. Only took one hole. He wins it, so congratulations to him on his second win. We're jumping into his bag. We're going to start at the top. We always do, and he's a Ping staff player, so it's going to be pretty much all Ping here. But we'll start with driver, and it is the Ping G440 LST. So this is a low spin, kind of lower trajectory, more neutral bias club head from Ping. It's like a slightly bit more neutral looking from address. The shaping also, in my eye, is a little bit more compact as well. It is a 10.5 degree head, but he is playing it at 9.4 degrees. So on the hosel here, it is set to the -1 position, but also the flat position. So on the Ping adapter, you know there's the pluses, the minuses on there, big and little. And then there's kind of some blank spots on the back end. Those blank spots are flat settings, which makes that lying a little bit flatter, which promotes maybe a little bit more right starting line or a little bit more slightly fade bias ball flight. So this one here, the rear weight is set to standard. It's actually a 32-gram weight, but set neutral in the back. And it is shafted up with a Fujikura Ventus Black 6TX. Now, this is the 2019 model, not the brand new one with VeloCore Plus. This is the original VeloCore. And this is a TX model, which means it's probably a little bit stiffer in terms of, slight spots in the shaft, but nothing crazy. I don't think Fujikura goes TX as being like a full flex stiffer than the standard X. But the TX typically are either like a little bit lower torque or just a little bit tighter somewhere in the shaft. Now, the Ventus Black is low launch, low spin, ultra stiff handle section, ultra stiff tip section, and that middle section is no slouch either. It is also very stiff. It comes in at 68 grams and 3 degrees of torque. Now, Brian plays his driver at 45.25 or 45.25 inches long. He tips this shaft 1 inch, and he plays it at a D4 swing weight. Now move on to the next club in his bag, and it is a 3-wood, and the 3-wood is going to be the matching Ping G440 LST. So again, this is actually a titanium 3-wood head. So titanium body, titanium face, a little bit more penetrating ball flight, better ball speed, a little bit lower spinning for those high-speed players who need that or want that out of their 3-wood. This is a 15-degree head, but his is playing at 13.5 degrees. Now the hosel is set to -1 and flat. So again, you're -1 degree. It's in that flat setting, a little bit more right starting line when you set it into that flat. Now, technically, I think that's down 1 degree in that setting, but it's measured out at 13.5. So this may start as a 14.5 degree head when he turns it down. Now, this one here is shafted up with a Fujikura Ventus Blue 7TX. So again, the TX model, a little bit lower torque, a little bit tighter, but nothing crazy different than the 7X that's out there in the Ventus Blue. This is a mid-launch, kind of low-spin shaft from Fujikura. Again, 2018 model, not the brand new one. A little bit softer handle section, very stiff tip, and the mid section is a little bit stiffer as well. This one comes in at 79.5 grams with 2.9 degrees of torque. Brian plays this thing at 43 inches long, and it's tipped 1 inch with a D0 plus swing weight at what Ping puts on it, which makes me think it's probably like D0.5. It's probably in between D0 and D1 for the swing weight there. So a little bit lighter on a 3-wood, which is interesting because he plays, D4 and driver. A little bit lighter in that 3-wood, which is pretty interesting. But hey, it's all in what works for your swing and gets the feel dialed in to what you like. Now from 3-wood, he then moves to 7-wood, and the 7-wood is the Ping G430 Max. So this is the previous generation G430. It is the Max version because that's what they make the 7-wood in, so definitely a little bit more forgiving, a little bit bigger head, bigger profile when you look down on it. It's a 21-degree head, but he is playing his at 19.5 degrees. So this one is the hosel set to the big minus. Now the photo you see here on YouTube is of it in the flat setting. And that was a previous setup from the RBC Canadian that we had photos from. He is now actually playing in the big minus with actually a slightly different shaft. That one before was the Fujikura Ventus TR Blue. The one in his club this year, the shaft, was the Fujikura Ventus Blue, so the standard Ventus Blue in an 8X. So the Ventus Blue is going to, again, have a little softer handle, very stiff tip, mid-launch, low spin. It's got a little softer handle than the TR Blue. So a little different setting than the exact photo, but he probably just took the head off and put a new shaft in, let's be honest. But this one here, that Fujikura Ventus Blue 8X, comes in at 86 grams and 2.8 degrees of torque. He plays this one at 41 inches long, and it's tipped 1.5 inches with a D1 swing weight. So 3-wood, 7-wood, very similar, with that slightly lighter swing weight. Now moving to irons, and he's got a little bit of a combo set, but the first iron in his bag is going to be the Ping IDI. This is the brand new driving iron we've seen on tour. We don't know anything about it yet. Ping hasn't released any of the details. We've only seen the images out on tour, but this is kind of looks to be like a hollow body design. It probably has a thinner face on it that adds a little ball speed. It's very versatile in terms you can probably hit it higher, lower, all that. It looks like it might be replacing the iCrossover. No real word yet from Ping on what this thing does, but we don't know any of the real technical specs other than we can see the photos, and it's there. But it is a utility iron from Ping that hopefully we'll see sometime later this year. This is the 4-iron version, which is 23 degrees, and it is shafted up with a KBS Tour 120 stiff. Yes, a stiff. Guys on tour don't always play extra stiff, but the KBS Tour 120S, 120 gram steel shaft, kind of mid-launch, kind of mid to mid-low spin, depending on the player. Really good, smooth feel. Now, Brian plays this one at 38.25 inches long and a 58 3/4 degree lie angle, and it is D1 plus in terms of the swing weight. So again, I think this is going to be like D1.5 would be my guess, or somewhere inside, a little bit beyond D1 in terms of that swing weight. So interesting one there for the 4-iron, and then the 5-through pitching wedge. He is playing the Ping Blueprint S irons. So these are the forged cavity back irons. Ping's had out for a little bit now. They've been huge on tour. As soon as they hit, it seemed like a bunch of people switched over into the Ping Blueprint S's. But these are some really playable CBs that feel good, sound good, they look good. To me personally, I think they're the best looking Ping irons they've ever made, from address, from behind, anywhere. I just think they're absolutely spectacular. So actually somewhat a little bit forgiving, slightly longer blade length, but a really great iron there. They're forged from 8620 carbon steel, which again gives you that great soft feel, good responsiveness on those shots. Now these are shafted up with KBS Tour 120 stiffs. So again, much like the IDI, these are just stiff shafts. But again, it all comes down to feel for these guys and what they like to feel of. The S maybe launch or spin just a touch more. But this is again a mid-launch, kind of mid to mid-low spin shaft. Really smooth, great feel to it. Been around a long time. It's kind of a classic staple in the KBS lineup. Now we move to wedges, and wedges are going to be a little bit different. He is playing, the first wedge in his bag is going to be the Titleist Vokey SM10. This is a 52.12F, so the high bounce, 52 degree. They make a standard or a regular bounce F grind that I believe is 8 degrees, and then they have the 12 degree for the higher bounce for players who are a little bit steeper or play a little bit softer conditions. It's going to offer just a smaller divot size from that sole. Now this one uniquely is shafted up with a KBS Tour 130X. So this is the heavier, stiffer version of what he plays in his irons and his utility iron. And he probably just moved to this, I would think, not necessarily for the launch and spin or that stiffness profile. Is probably just that he wants a similar feel to the irons, but wants to go a little bit heavier. So 130 grams extra stiff, but it's still KBS Tour profile, so still kind of mid-launch and mid-low spin. The next wedge in his setup is going to be a sand wedge at 56, or a Titleist Vokey SM10, 56.10 S grind. So the S grind is kind of fuller sole, a little bit of trailing edge relief on the back, so you still get the full sole playability out of softer conditions, a little smaller divot, good float out of the traps, but you have some trailing edge relief where you can open that face a little bit without the leading edge coming off the turf too high. So on those tighter lies, you can hit a little higher lofted shot or a little open face shot without having to worry about that leading edge catching too high on the ball. Now this one here is shafted up with a True Temper Dynamic Gold Tour Issue S400, which I bet you're shocked to know that it's there, because the S400 seems to be in pretty much every wedge setup we talk about. But this one here, 132 grams, True Temper Dynamic Gold feel, and that weight sorting tolerance of plus or minus half a gram is pretty awesome. Now the last wedge in his setup is going to be his lob wedge, and this is a Titleist Vokey WedgeWorks 60 L grind. So the L grind is kind of the lower bounce version of the V grind. V grind is kind of probably one of the most popular Vokey grinds that they do in the WedgeWorks lineup, but the L grind is the lower bounce version. 4 degrees of bounce, and it can play a little bit more bounce than that for certain players. The bounce on this one is a little bit pushed forward in the head, so depending on your release, this may play a little bit more mid bounce for you. Now this one here still has a ton of trailing edge heel and toe relief, so that leading edge stays down. Whether you open the face, play it square, you can really manipulate it a lot around the greens without that leading edge coming too high off the ground. Hit a variety of different shots on tight lies, soft lies, whatever. It's extremely versatile there. This one again shafted up with a True Temper Dynamic Gold Tour Issue S400. So again, 132 grams, kind of mid-low launch, kind of on the lower spin side, offering a little bit more penetrating flight and better control coming into the green. Now for putter, he's playing something a little bit different, a little bit older. This is the Ping Redwood Anser 2. So the Redwood series was an older series of putters that Ping brought out that was fully milled from a solid block of stainless steel. Now, by fully milled, meaning the neck and the head, everything was milled out of it. And that was kind of the Redwood thing, was that the hosel comes out of the head, but they were all milled all together out of one solid chunk in order to give better feel, responsiveness, all that. Now, at the time when those came out a while ago, that wasn't done a whole lot. Nowadays, it's done kind of all the time or in a lot of situations. Back then, there wasn't really. It was really the necks were either welded on or attached on in a different way. Not many companies were actually milling the necks into the heads like Ping started doing. So this series was actually really underrated. I feel like these putters for a long time were kind of undervalued on the secondary market, but a great putter made out of, I believe it's 303 stainless steel. But milled solid there. The face you can see is milled very, very shallow, so it's going to have a little bit crisper, firmer feel. Off that, maybe a little bit more click to it that some players like. Now the Anser 2 style is of course going to be a little bit boxier, a little bit sharper corners. The bumpers aren't going to be quite as tall and rounded, but it looks like it has just a slightly wider look to it from face to back. Just a single sight line on this one for Brian. And this one here is shafted up with just a standard steel shaft and a grip that is the Pingman, the PP58 Pingman grip, which you can see on there, the white lettering that says Ping with the little guy with the putter. This has kind of got like a really velvety type feel to it, really soft rubber, at least played by a lot of people. It's really on the thinner side, but he is playing the Tour M version, which is the medium size version, or mid-size version. They make a Tour L, and then they make a standard one as well. So the M is a little bit bigger version, but nice pistol shape to it, and really one of those popular grips. I think when Tiger was using it for a long time, everybody went out and bought a PP58 just in the blackout version. So a really, really popular grip out there. But the Tour M version, Brian plays his 34.25 inches long, 2 degrees aloft, and a 70-degree lie angle. Now for grips on the rest of his clubs, he plays the Golf Pride Tour Velvet. So we talked about this grip before, kind of a standard brushed rubber from Golf Pride, been around for absolutely ever. Nice herringbone style texture to it, offers a good combination of good traction, tackiness, and wet weather control. Now for the ball, he's playing the Titleist Pro V1x. So this is going to be the higher launching, higher spinning ball from Titleist, especially compared to the Pro V1. It's also going to have a little firmer feel to it. So that is Brian Campbell's winning what's in the bag from the 2025 John Deere Classic. Congratulations again to him on his second win of the year, his second career win as well. He's having a good 2025. But that is it for this week's episode. Check back next week. We'll jump into the next players winning what's in the bag.